Yo, welcome back to the project. This is Roy here with another marathon video. Number, I believe, 17, 18, something along those lines. It's not a big deal to keep track. Of course, this is a continuation, a continuous evolving process from previously what was the Hour Project, a self-therapeutic multimedia project to solve the problems, challenges, obstacles in our lives, and also a self-improvement process to reach the heights, goals, and ambitions we have set for ourselves. It's a very old mantra. It's outdated. Now it's mostly focused on being a bunch of other newly evolving aspirations, such as a group reaction. So we have like group reactions, inception. In other words, a reaction to a reaction to a reaction to an anime. And we basically spend our time here trying to go somewhere with our aspirations as a group, right? Because I find it's more fulfilling to do it with people. So I think that's a pretty general statement to make, but what are we here with this particular video? If we just get on topic, is there is a huge plethora of stuff. Sorry, just tight. We have a huge plethora of stuff to get through because of all the technical aspects that we worked through to get OBS up and running and all the surrounding tasks and actions that we were trying to pull together to make our stream, again, of higher quality and something worth watching. So without further ado, I would say this one's going to take probably about roughly an hour. It's going to be a long video again. I spent almost 6 hours today, so this is behind the scenes, a very technical behind the scenes video. Man, there's so much to cover. We went on a variety of different related tangents regarding this multimedia project, from exploring the podcasting options to the way we can sync it up with Apple Music, and then getting back into OBS Studio and trying to use that instead of Video Proc, which is like a crutch really up to this point. So was Clipchamp. And well, we'll still probably use Clipchamp for video editing, but without further ado, let's just dive right into what we have to cover here. I think the first thing, OBS is a very heavy thing to cover. I have so many plugins and setups arranged, so we'll start off on a lighter note. And but you can see that the first thing that I should probably highlight is that as of this video, compared to the previous ones, I'm now using OBS Studio to do, for the first time in a long time, to do a video recording. Actually, this is my first time ever doing a video recording, period, on OBS Studio. Previously, I had used OBS Studio for live streaming, and actually we should play this as well. We'll get to that in a moment, actually. Why don't we just get to that? So, yeah, I've never actually considered using OBS Studio as a video recording software. I've always used it for streaming up until this point, and it has always been a never-ending slew of problems whenever I try to do live streams using OBS Studio, because it was too taxing for my laptop, obviously. You should run this on a computer, a desktop, but definitely not on a laptop. So the first thing to note was, of course, I figured, hey, in the previous video before this one we recorded, we were exploring different options. I mentioned from Clipchamp's video producing elements such as the screen and webcam overlay, and then we also had the default Video Proc, and they have a web and screen overlay as well. There are some benefits to using that. I recall in that previous video that I was able to really easily draw and write over things, so I definitely will consider using Video Proc continuously once in a while, just to make sure I'm familiar with it, and also I think it's quite useful at certain times if I want to mock some stuff up. But even though there is a plugin, not a plugin, sorry, a script I have down here that allows me to write over stuff as well, but that's a little bit buggy, and with OBS Studio being so complex as it is, things tend to break over the versions. So anyways, that being said, the major highlight, of course, is that we are using OBS Studio right now, and to make this recording, to make this video. So what we'll do is just kind of minimize this. Okay, I'm going to try and chill a little bit, because I know I have to not only conserve my energy, but I've been so taxed and overwhelmed with the number of things that I had to do that at this point, I'm just kind of like beaten down and a little bit like I don't know if wimpy is the right word, but I'm certainly a little bit withdrawn. That's what I feel like right now. I'm not as energetic as I was, say, in the other ones. So the first thing I want to do is, clearly there's no music right now. Unlike during, I think, a video proc, I may have had some music in the backdrop. I think that's because I had, oh no, that's just because the live stream here is not running out loud. Okay, never mind. There was some music in the previous video screen webcam recording blah da software on video proc either. I just ran the music from my phone, and just like right now there's really no music, but the music pops up obviously in after credits. After the recording, post recording, we edit into the video using Clipchamp and add some tracks. But what we can do here actually right now, because OBS is such a comprehensive piece of software, of course, we can just actually play music right now. So the first thing I want to do, we'll get back to OBS. We have so much stuff here we can talk about. But the first thing we'll do is music. So this time we can integrate music directly into the recording while we're running the video recording, the screen capture. So we have Spotify here. It's an app that I haven't used in, again, quite some time, probably a few years. Since last time I started using OBS for streaming, and then I stopped, right? And then it was only for a very short while that I even used it. It was too buggy, too many problems and issues with doing it on a laptop. But now I'm here with OBS as a video recording device. So we have myself logged into Spotify, and if I try and maximize this, one of the benefits, of course, to OBS Studio right now is that I can actually continue working on the entire backdrop without having to worry about what I can't see here, which is supposed to be a webcam, which would usually block my way from working on the stuff in the backdrop. So anyways, this is the album White from Stream Beats by Harris Heller. Of course, that's Alpha Gaming or Senpai Gaming now. Great lo-fi tracks. And I have, of course, on the left-hand side panel, you can see all the different themes of atmosphere, rock, chill step, hi-fi, lo-fi, ambient that I have added from Stream Beats, from credits to Harris Heller, of course, and Stream Beats for providing the royalty-free, copyright-free music for me to be able to play this kind of stuff. And without further ado, we just can play it. And raise the volume maybe just a little bit, because I realized that, in fact, on OBS, I tested a previous recording just to see how loud it would be compared to my voice. I didn't want to drown out what I'm saying. Obviously, this is more a technical, behind-the-scenes, vlogish kind of video. So obviously, I want what I'm saying to be captured. Okay, so we've got some background music now. Okay, and it works very nicely. We have the settings here. You can see the long playlist, and once in a while there are advertisements. So all I have to do is really just kind of lower the volume a bit when that does happen. But the music here is great. Honestly, it's top tier stuff for live streaming. It just happens, it just runs in the backdrop. That's all it does. And I'm assuming, of course, that this is copyright free stuff, but we will have to, of course, test this out by uploading later on. Later, I don't know if it's later on today, but certainly within the next 48 hours over onto YouTube to see if there are any copyright notices that will prevent me from using my current setup of OBS coupled with the audio mixer to Spotify. Okay, but anyways, while we're on the Spotify app, so we have like 9 or 10 things to cover in this video. It's crazy. There's so much fucking stuff to do. So the first thing we'll go here is just take a look at the settings. Right, you can allow explicit playing of explicit content, language in English, audio quality, streaming quality, download, blah-de-da, audio connect, share the listing over to Spotify, connect with Facebook. I have not done that. Playbacks, all that kind of stuff, audio mix. There's even an equalizer here if I really want to. And that's really, really something else. But, I think of, when it comes to using equalizer, it's most important when you're doing a podcast. that you use the equalizer and compression and express and so on and so forth, the limiter for your own voice, less so much for music. I think that's not too big of a deal. Startup, window behavior, of course not, and all that kind of stuff. Storage. So there's all these settings here. You just find it in the app. You can download from the Microsoft Windows Store if you have Windows. I know that if you're a tech savvy person, you're probably not a big fan of Windows 11. You're probably more a fan of like Linux or something like that. But I would say that Windows 11 is like definitely improved substantially. It's gone far away from where it was. What's with the new CEO? I think it is Dupe or something like that. Anyways, the point is he's done a really great job in leading the company forward, especially with now integrating OpenAI, partnering with OpenAI, integrating Bing with the ChatGPT. So anyways, that's a side tangent, but the point is here we have Spotify and it's done here, and great. So we've knocked out one thing. We're back to OBS Studio. I think I want to start off here because honestly, we're gonna have to start here anyways. Oh, you know what? Here, we'll return to OBS and the complicated interface and all the plugins I have here. We'll cover that after we cover this. This is OBS related too, so we can kind of knock off a tab at least. So the first thing I mentioned, the last thing I mentioned in the previous recording, the previous video behind the scenes, is that we were covering OBS backups. So at the very end of the previous video, which will probably be uploaded in like a week or two, man, there was a lot of stuff. I was trying to test Clipchamp as a screen recorder, a webcam screen recording device. We also tried to test we tried to add like a webcam display, webcam capture onto VideoProc as an alternative to, as the current alternative that we had at that point in time. And then afterwards we tried OBS Studio, but then that required us to update stream elements, and then that made us jump from OBS to stream elements over all the way to Skype. It's ridiculous, right? Over to Skype, because then it had to close Skype, and then suddenly Skype had the new Bing AI chat. So we just went from literally from Clipchamp over to VideoProc, and then over to OBS Studio, then tossed me over to Stream Elements, which then tossed me over to Skype, and then Skype to the new Bing inside the AI. Okay, and then things just went full circle as I asked a question about a certain term that is censored on YouTube, of course, because it's a heavy topic, and then it brought it all the way back to Gabriel Maté at the very beginning, who is a pretty well-renowned, I believe, a psychiatrist on basically, or a traumatologist basically on attachment and authenticity. So it was very interesting to see the whole video go in circles. Long story short, nearing the very end where we were talking about OBS Studio, we said that it wasn't just about updating stream elements and testing the current interface that we're using right now very successfully. It was also one thing really, really, really important was to try to learn how to back up our OBS files and the settings and the plugins. So we finally pulled up a tab and we said, OBS backup settings, OBS backup plugin. It seems like there's apparently there's more than two different ways to do so. So we have backup your OBS styles. This one at the very top is a recommendation from Google, extracted from XBit Labs, that's recommending the best way to back up your OBS Studio settings is from going to C drive, users, administrator, app data, roaming, studio, make a copy of the entire OBS Studio folder. This folder preserves exactly all of the settings and overlays exactly as you left them. So this is super interesting. It's also very, very simple. I like that, of course. That's fucking awesome. So go to users /administrator / app data, roaming, studio. Okay, so I will definitely do that when I'm off stream. Obviously, I can't do that now. We have so much to cover. There's other ways. Apparently there's a plugin, and I can't remember if that was, I mentioned that may be from Exceldro, but I'm not sure. So here's of course Exceldro is pretty famous for creating so many of these amazing plugins, and I was wondering if he was the one who also made one for backups of OBS Studio settings. So backups, OBS settings, scenes, and profiles, blah-de-da. And this is more like a forum. It's one of the links there. Hi guys, girls, how to format my PC. Don't want to do all the settings, profiles, scenes again. So is there a way? And this was in June 2021, 2 years ago. I'm not sure it's the same version. Go to File, Show Settings folder, and Show Profile folder, and then back up the contents of the Show Profile folder. Interesting. Please be aware that any images, including image masks, filters, media sources, are only referenced. So they should be backed up separately. And I'm wondering how to do that. This is what I did when I moved to Windows 10, but I think it would be the same situation. From Windows 7 to Windows 10. Okay, and then this guy provides a little link here. I will rebuild manually my scenes. I would like to avoid going through the hassle of setting my profile again. Can I really just copy and then overwrite everything in the settings folder? That's plugin config and other things that seem like maybe version specific. And it seems like that's okay. We're on an ad now, so it seems like that's about as far as it goes. There's only about 4 posts. I think there's 2 interesting leads here. One is person here linking over to something way back when he was switching computers, and then and it's to OBS project, and then there's a post up here from WBE. So we can go to Show Settings folder, File, Show Settings folder. Why don't we do that right now? File, Show Settings folder. Okay, and here we go. Brings us to roaming, OBS Studio, app data. Perfect. So we have an idea of where to go now. Very nice, very nice. And we just have to copy all of this stuff apparently. Let me just check if I go inside. In fact, yeah, it has a lot of stuff that's very, very familiar. But I don't think it's comprehensive. I think there's definitely some stuff missing. I think it's in the C drive or something like that. So we'll definitely have to get back to this later on. But I'll keep this folder, this Windows Explorer open to remind myself of that. Why don't we just go ahead and click on this link here and see where it leads. OBS, good. It's a real link. Project forums. Okay. Export. Okay. Moving from Windows 7 to Windows 10. We would like to move. And this was 3 years ago. So we go from Windows export, Windows 10 OBS profile import. Is it really that simple? What the hell? Okay. I would like to avoid going through the hassle of setting up my profiles again. Is there a profile settings folder I can just move over to Windows 10? OBS profile, export, Windows 10 OBS for import. It's so simple. Are you serious? Do I have to do with each profile I have with each OBS profile? Damn. Okay. That was a very, very short. Okay, we can close this. It seems like a OBS profile. Let's see. Files, settings, show profile folder. Okay. Basic profiles. Okay, nice. Profiles, scenes, OBS Studio, roaming. All right, so this is interesting because what this person spoke about right here, Banyarola on the forums OBS project, he referred to importing, exporting. What? Let's see. Let's go back again. Go to the Windows 7 OBS profile and export, and then import. Okay. OBS. Let's go to OBS, files, show profile folder, and it basically led me to where I was before. Right. This is profiles here. Oh, right. So what I was going to say is that the funny thing is profiles is already located inside app data. It's just another folder within the greater folder of OBS Studio within the app data cache. So if we follow the same instructions as the person from the previous thread on WBE, and we just basically copy the entire app data folder for our OBS Studio, that will also include somewhere down the line the profile folder. So we can cut out that step, which is very nice. So thankfully, what we do now is we can just close this. What we'd like to do actually, maybe we should just copy this thread, close that. We may leave this one up here because there are some videos here. So from Nutty, of course, Nutty's always very helpful. He's going to talk about a plugin to back up your OBS settings and so on and so forth. And there's more stuff down here. So I'm going to leave this thread open. I'm going to leave the Google search open. But we're going to close the OBS project thread and just copy the link, paste it here over on Excel, and I think we'll be good to go. So, okay. So let's just paste it here. We'll say backup OBS, that's the column S. Backup software project multimedia broadcast backup. Okay, and so we just say, of course, the two main things here so far have been to get the profile and the settings. Okay, and today's date, of course, is March 20. Things just really fly by when you have so much to do, and I guess that's kind of making it exciting, but it's also quite stressful. Okay, great. So let's hop back over to where we are. Okay, good. And we'll just minimize that, drop this down. And okay, so now let's cover, right, OBS Studio, like I said we would. So there's a lot to cover, obviously. OBS Studio, we could do, right, anyone could go through an entire year's worth of, you can make a full-blown, like, YouTube channel. A lot of people have, in fact, made just a whole channel dedicated to OBS Studio. I'm not going to do all that, obviously. This is just for like 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, running down some key things that maybe even less. Hopefully I spend less time on OBS Studio because there's so much here. You can see that I have at least like 25 different let's go to File, right? Edit, Show, Docs. You'll see that very soon I have like so many different scripts, well, mostly plugins and so on and so forth, and add-ons. So from File, Edit, Start File, just show recordings, remux recordings. So apparently I'm using a MKV file, which allows me to pause temporarily, just for about, I believe, 5 to 10 seconds, the live stream, the video or the live stream if I want, and then restart it, unpause and then continue the stream or continue the video. If I use MP4, apparently I can't do that. So that's something I learned just literally a couple of hours ago. And that's why there's a remux recordings here. Okay, settings, show settings folder, profile folder. We just learned about that right now, where we can find the source, edit. So we can undo, redo, copy, paste, all that kind of wonderful stuff. There's the second navigation menu, transform, all this kind of stuff here. Super useful here. I realize you can just right click on the screen. This is very helpful for me. For example, right now I want to switch and flip the screen on the vertical or horizontal axis so that I would be looking at a certain direction, either left or right, depending on the video. Where am I placing the reaction content, or in this case, the guides or tutorial content, or just the material that we're speaking about, the informational material. But you can do a lot more than just flip. You can, rotate 90 degrees, all that kind of interesting effects. Order, move up, down, top, whatever. Previous scaling lock. I don't know everything here. A lot of these things I have never used. Full screen. So in our third nav, we have full screen, scenes, scene toolbar, icon status, multi-view. 4 is docs. So lock, reset, docs. Super useful. You can see all the different interfaces here that I have at least 7 docked interfaces. Definitely more. For example, here we have like a YouTube and a Twitch chat here, and then there's captions, so they're just hidden underneath each other on the far right hand side. One is for stream elements. Live video settings, not set up yet because I'm not streaming. And then this is just a video recording again. This is going to be uploaded onto the platform. And then we have stream chat, right? And then we have captions, which is super interesting as well. But I know there are different pieces of software will specialize and have certain advantages. So for example, Clipchamp is super awesome. It has 15 different, you can do text to speech so much better there. They will literally have an AI voiceover with a male or female broadcasting, or it can have different styles. It can be a broadcast, it can be a newscast, it could be just like a friend. It was so interesting. So we can actually use that if we want to do some sort of voiceover or anything like that. We don't have to do it ourselves. That's pretty wicked. The next thing we can also say that Another piece of software that was probably good for marking up the screen is VideoProc. So DigiAudio VideoProc, which is what I've been using for the past couple, actually for basically the past 3 weeks, the entire time since I restarted and started uploading over to the platform videos instead of live streams. VideoProc, of course, now I realize you can actually use like a marker. You can make a lot of like, you can write things up on a display a lot easier than you can on OBS, which right now, if I were to do that, I would have to use a whiteboard script. And I can't remember how to do it, but, even if I did, I remember there was it was very buggy. There were a lot of issues. So that's not the same with VideoProc. It's very nice and simple and straightforward. OBS is very complicated because you add on, it's a bare bones piece of software, and then you add everything else on top, which makes it really complicated. All right, anyways, that's that. Docks, though, but lots of stuff here. So you can dock the scenes. Obviously, I have scenes here. Sources, audio mixer, scene transitions, controls, stats, super interesting stats. Downstream keyer, that's a plugin actually. Multiple output, scene tree, right? Like half of these are just things I add as plugins. Music control captions. Lower thirds, soundboard, definitely that's an integration. Chat, right? Stream out, Twitch stats, stuff like that, stats. And here we go. We have like the stats right here. So FPS, drops, and whatever. I don't think I'm not going to leave it here because if I do that, it seems like it's going to cause some issues. It's just too wide. Unless I can't really compress this. Inactive recording. So I'm recording right now. 500 MB already. It's crazy. Okay, let's close this already. Shit. Okay. Closing dock window. Yeah, just close the dock window. I don't need it. Okay, so what we'll do now is profile is kind of blocked out. Wait, there's no profile? I'm not logged in? Interesting. I'm wondering why that is. Okay. Scene collection. Oh, does that mean that I won't have any settings saved? Oh, that's gonna suck. So I have to learn about this. I have to learn how to log into a profile on OBS. Anyways, new, duplicate, rename, right? Scene collections, import, export, tools, backlink captions, output, all this stuff, scripts. So I actually learned about scripts so that I could use that red marker thing to write on the screen, which again, I said is pretty buggy. But there are other scripts that were pretty useful too. WebSockets, you definitely need that. Tuna settings, and that's for like sounds and so on and so forth. Sound effects. Closed captions, scene collection manager, right? If you want to do a replay of certain scenes. Tools, StreamFX. So StreamFX is just like part of Stream Elements, I believe. Read the wiki, help and support, StreamFX website. No, it's actually a plugin, sorry. Allows you to, I think, use a bunch of other plugins. Automatic check for updates, update the channel, blah, 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 about StreamFX if you want. So right here, StreamFX, and it's all the contributors. Super cute. Okay. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I can't really, I can't rhyme with that. I'm not much of a, for race. Okay, help portal, visit website, join Discord server, log files, crash reports, check for updates, blah, blah, blah. About a little bit iffy about updating, especially if I update to a newer version and then everything crashes. Clearly, I'm using OBS 27.2.4. I can see that. It's very probably different from OBS version 29 right now. I've heard is out. Stream setup, edit widgets and data, setup bot and tipping, browse. Oh, Stream Elements is here. Okay, SE Live, cloud backup. Okay, that's everything on the top. Navigation. Okay, multiple inputs. So Facebook, YouTube, Africa TV, Twitch. At the time, like I said, I was this is a plugin from Sorayuki, and I was thinking at the time I would be streaming to multiple different sources at the same time to different platforms. And sure enough, I did try to do that, but again, there were so many issues. And I believe some would fail. It might go to YouTube but not on Twitch, or it might go to Twitch and YouTube but not on Facebook, and they had to set up keyframes. Super annoying. I didn't continue with that. Beneath that, we have another plugin for specifically just for lower thirds. And I believe I can't remember who it was, but there's a YouTuber who taught me basically all of this stuff here and how to use this this specific plugin for lower thirds. Big thank you to him and also to the creator of this plugin. I'm not sure who made this one. I don't think it's Exceldro though. Underneath you see some more extra tabs. We got stream information, right? Lifelong marathon done, bloody da. Doesn't really matter. Again, I'm not streaming right now. But I can see that's actually updated. That's really interesting. So it's kind of synced up to my Twitch or whatnot. So that's pretty cool. And then we have activity feed, which, you know, I'm not really sure what that means. I just left out lower thirds. Now the lower thirds thing is super interesting. You can actually switch between different, you know, formats and whatnot. And what that refers to, it's kind of glowing right now. That means it's active, the light blue. The lower thirds that it's referring to is the one up here in the top right hand corner. So you see right here, the on-row, you can see, we will talk about this little widget that I've created myself, this interactive media piece, I call it. But on-row project right here, the lower third, and it's not really a lower third, it's actually at the top right. So it's at the exact opposite. And you think of a lower third, it's like an upper right third, I don't know what to call it. Anyways, that's where it is, located up there. It's not super important. Go down here, we got the scenes now. I don't have that many scenes, I don't think. Some people I've seen, like I saw Nutty has crazy. It's like fucking, this guy got like 50 to 100 scenes, and I was like, wow. But that's probably because he has so much different types of content, and he's a very technical person, right? His channel is very technical. His focus is on teaching people like me, like knobs and people who don't know what to do, and beginners and people, you know, I guess I'm a bit of a normie, I guess you could say. But basically I have no idea what I'm doing, and I really have to credit, and I'm really grateful for people who like Nutty and other creators who have taught me so much about OBS Studio. So basically the scenes here and how to use nested scenes. So down here, NS, especially gaming careers, incredibly professional. I'm very thankful to him. I hope that one day, yeah, definitely we're going to do like some reactions to a lot of different pieces of content. Down the road, we're just going to do one to his as well. But basically, we have nested scenes here, audio inputs. I put a nested scene for all the inputs here. Right, you can see, I just blotted out now. But you have all the different inputs, voice mod, HyperX, the quadcast. We have there we go, nice. And now I click OK. So just some troubleshooting there. But anyways, while we're troubleshooting, why don't we just talk about this? So what I just did right there was it wasn't showing the display because the song refreshes, and also I put my laptop to sleep. Some things just kind of became inactive. But you can see for the sources, if you click on it and right click, you can go to the properties, and you can see here the window, the capture method. So it can be automatic, 8-bit or whatever. And you can have all these windows here that are active right now. I have way too many windows open, obviously. A lot of them are Windows Explorers for the screenshot, for the downloads, because there's video editing. But then we also have like the programs like Spotify, which is basically where it's supposed to be referring to. You can match window priority, and basically what this is very important. It basically allows you to refer, allows the computer to find the piece of media, the program that you want to refer to, and the criteria for which you take that search function, to find that piece of information. Okay, capture cursor, client area. I know I didn't describe that very well, but whatever. Okay, nice. So it's like glowing again. Let's see. So for each of the sources, you right click, you have a lot of different things you can do as well. Again, add a different source. And then you have all those 20 different things here. You got copy, set colors. Some of these are inactive, paste. But set the color, you can see right here. If I set the color to red, then it will just glow red. I can show you an example just right here. So for example, I set the interactive avatar speaker to be red. That's why it's red, right? Color, right? But most of them are just clear. This one's gray, but most of them is clear. Anyways, order, transform. Like I said, you can flip things over horizontally. Scale filtering, disable, point, linear, bicubic, lances area, I don't know. Probably just different algorithms. Blending mode, again, different things. Yeah, I don't really know what they mean. If someone's very invested in this, they could probably tell me. Screen projector, window projector, screenshots. Interesting. Show transition. So these are transitions. I don't use transitions again because I'm not really streaming, but if I were, I suppose it'd be much more applicable. So you can see here, move, cut, fade, swipe, slide, stinger. Stinger is basically a custom transition. Fade to color, luma wipe, shader, shader, light up. Okay, that's that. I noticed something. The box is not popping to the progress bar. Spotify capture. So there are also filters, right? So transition, high transitions, but then at the very end are the most important. So filters and properties you can actually see right here, right beneath the display. So you have the name of the source and the properties, filters, and the window. So some basic information. If I go to properties, that's basically where we were to troubleshoot. But we can go to filters, and this one is just massive. So you can add all these different effects, which are, for the most part, plugins that you can install over onto OBS Studio. So 3D transfer, let's just run through like some of these that I have here that I didn't apply. But 3D transform, right, to move things around. Apply LUTs, so that's like a filter effect. Blur, chroma key, for I think that's like for turning a green screen and then putting a new background. Color grading, that will be useful. I want to do that so that I can change the backdrop, which is a very boring, my room is just really boring. At the backdrop. It's also very dark. I don't like to turn the lights on when I'm doing streaming because it happens at night. And also I find that I don't really like, honestly, I don't like working on my computer for 8 hours. I hate that. I like to go out every single day. I like to go out, go to the shopping mall, I even rather go to work and volunteer than stay here the whole damn day. So I don't appreciate actually having blinding blue lights in my face for that long, and I think most people don't, right? You want to go out there in the real world as well. As much as I like doing this virtual digital stuff, which is like a real hobby of mine for sure, I like variety. So I think everybody wants to have like a healthy, balanced lifestyle. So long story short, this is going to be really important to have the chroma key, because every time I live stream, I always have like only the ring light turned on. It's literally such a dark room right now. If you could take a look around, this is like not going to capture anything. And it looks like a very boring room, and that's not very functional. For what purpose? Because I'm doing reaction videos, right? So there's something I have to think about. This is like this goes deep, right? Just for chroma key alone, the whole green screen thing is very big key component here, because I'm not going to be able to punch a really good reaction quality content if I have my entire room all black, and then it also doesn't show my face very well, because again, I have such dim lights. Precisely because I don't want to make myself sleepy when I actually go out and start like working or go volunteering or just going to get the groceries. I want to be alert and awake when I leave the house. Anyways, or leave the residence. So that's that. That's a lot loaded in there. But all right, let's just briefly cover out the rest, right? Color grading, color correction, color key, crop pad, directory with media, dynamic mask, image mask, so you can cover stuff up. Luma key, right? Move action, move source, move value. I have no idea what that is. Move video capture device. I think a lot of these things are basically just like allowing the sources that are on display to slide over. So you would use this for a lot of transitional effects and so on and so forth. Render delay, SDF effects. I don't know what that is. Scale to sound, scaling aspect ratio, so you can change and crop. Scroll, shader, shader filter plus, which is like, I just think that's a more advanced version of shader, and sharpen. So let's just do an example here. I don't know what the hell SDF effects is. Let's see what happens. Specify the name. So filter name. I say just okay. It's fine. Leave it like that. You can encode it at 0.00 something. And then just the name. I don't know. It's like test. And then you can see it. There we go. All these different effects. So outward shadow, outward glow, inner glow. So it allows you to just basically add a shadow over this interface, which is the source of Spotify capture. So if this shows on there, will there be a shadow? Will there be like some sort of like some graphics? Basically, all this is just graphics, at least for this specific filter. And there are all these different filters, and you can do a ton of different variety effects. Okay, so that's that. And I'm a little surprised here. I don't know what's going on, but the music player is supposed to bounce, and I know it's not bouncing right now. software app, interactive music group, filters, scale to sound. Okay, good. So for some reason, sorry, it wasn't moving. Basically, what I have here, this amazing plugin that I want to talk about here, called Scale to Sound, allows this speaker to basically bounce according to it basically moves according to the audio. And so I'll give an example right here, right? Why don't we go ahead and do that? Since this is a filter I'm really enthusiastic about. Audio source, audio threshold, audio ceiling, right? So minus 45 decibels, more minus 40 decibels, and just kind of limiters really. Minimize size, maximize size, very generic. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically I'm approximating what their meanings are. Smoothing, you can correct me, of course, feel free to do that. Scale width, get into nitty-gritty details. Scale height, center, positional, x-axis, y. Basically, if I connect here, the most important part, the audio source right now with a Realtek speaker. And now you can see all of these different sources. So there's even the virtual source. It seems like the visual sources, sorry. Prism, open, virtual, prism, virtual, open, prism. Prism, virtual, the open broadcasting, OBS, virtual. These are just virtual visual effects here. Display, sorry. We got the cameras, browser intermission, gameplay, webcam return, blah-de-da, all that kind of stuff, all that crap. And then all the way straight down to the audio stuff as well. It looks like there's like 15 of them. What I'm going to do is select Spotify if I can't. And see if this allows it to bounce. But it doesn't. Okay, for some reason it's not working. Let's see. Intermission. Test 1, 2, test 2, 3. Having a little too much fun with this thing here. Let's put a little bit more. There we go. All right. I think that's about it. You smooth it out a little bit. Can leave it be. Yeah, put a little bit of smoothing there. Anyways, that's the interactive media group. That took way too much time. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so what we'll do is go to the returning. Okay. Returning scene. Returning back to Earth. Back to Earth. I'm definitely gonna cut that out, man. 15 minutes of this video is just garbage. Unless you're on Patreon, you won't see that. All right, so back on track. Yeah, that's all the sources. Returning. This is a returning scene right here, and the overlays from Dank, courtesy of Stream Elements. So be right back. The good news is that allowed me to calm down. So taking short breaks, stay tuned, all that kind of jazz. Great stuff. Intermission scene, pretty straightforward. You can see here, there's like a couple of display captures. So you can see me here. You can see the webcam, and then there's like a Twitch. There's basically a browser here that I basically covered up. And then we have, of course, as usual, the assets, the media assets for the music, the lower third, the like icon, the visualizer, and then the gameplay is really not really gameplay. I don't play any games actually as of right now, not at all. I want to get into that maybe a year's time or a year or two down the road, revisit a game that I used to. But for now, it's just a display. So we have two things here. One's a display, one's a gameplay. And basically allows me to switch back and forth here. I'm not sure what happened. Must have made a mistake. But basically one of this is supposed to be a webcam first. Why is it doing that, you know? Yo, welcome back to the project. This is a marathon continuation, probably video number 18. And I'm pretty stressed and a little frustrated, to be honest. The previous video didn't go as planned because we found out there are several things that we just couldn't wait to do later. I got like an evil grin on me right now. And then there were some issues while we were editing and making changes to OBS while we're supposed to be talking about it. And ended up crashing, right? So the whole thing just crashed. Now, maybe it was for the better because obviously I clearly wasn't in the right set of mind. I was totally focused on fixing up whatever issues there were or completing whatever things were actually yet to be finished. For example, so we're just continuing off from where we were in the previous video, right? And it's a very real possibility we might just edit both of these and stitch them together into one video. But basically, we left off completely trying to cover most of what we can visually see on OBS Studio. And we were at the scenes almost at the end of it, almost done. But there were some things that were going haywire. For example, I noticed that, something's going haywire right now, in fact. Something's not playing. For example, we can go there right now since the same problem's cropping up again. The interactive media group player was simply not showing up. And if I can see why that is, exactly it's the same issue all over again. We gotta go defaults. I'm back. Because there was an advertisement, assuming. And then hopefully now we can choose Spotify, but no, we can't. Can't even find it here. Yeah, we had some issues there. And we're still having issues now. 22 more pages. If I get rid of it and restart Spotify. So these were the kind of issues that we were facing at the time. And it was really frustrating. It's very frustrating. Let's see Spotify again. There we go. And now it's showing. Okay. So one of the things that we were trying to fix, you could say, is that the bottom right here, the music player, was not moving to the music. So you see now it's basically bouncing back and forth according to the song. But before it wasn't doing that at all. Very frustrating. And we tried to basically go to the filter for the waveform visual Spotify. So not the waveform, but the Spotify capture. And we were toying around, I think, the whole music player itself. With the settings here to try and make it work. We had to change the sizing a little bit also to make it actually pop, because before it was at 80% and the audio threshold was so high that it basically wasn't picking up any of the sound or the music, hence why it wasn't moving. So we made it really much more emphatic, and now it's actually moving. To make it more emphatic also means that it'd be more choppy, right, to pick up more sounds that are background noises. So now we also added a little bit of smoothing so that it doesn't just keep shaking like a jittering, like a ice cold, bag of ice. All right, so let's go up here. Sorry, I'm not really at the top. Tired. And then the next thing that we ran into, so we came and game scenes were identical, and I couldn't figure out why that was, because I thought I made changes to one, but I realized afterwards that basically just a reference scene to the other. So we had to detach, and we couldn't find a way to do that. So at that point, when we tried to delete the scene, what ended up happening was something a whole lot worse, which was the app just crashed completely. The entire broadcasting software just crashed because I tried to delete a scene that we were, stupid me, I was still on that scene, and I tried to delete the scene that we were on. So understandably, the software just ended. We find ourselves. So the video was about a minute and 15 minutes long, 75, and about at least half an hour of that was just troubleshooting, right? But at least the first 45 minutes were tutorial type material, guide, kind of just a run through, a breakdown, and now we're here and we know what we got, the most important things out of the way. We have the Reactive play, and as opposed to display, the display is probably going to be safe for the future. We don't have anymore. And yeah, well, the display would probably be the administrative stuff, so it's actually quite important. And basically what I've done is I've put gameplay display. And then the reaction one will be for reactions. So quickly I want to talk about this. So we already talked about the properties, filters, sources, you know, and then all this kind of stuff shows up. But the most important part I want to talk about right here are some thoughts. The previous video, we covered OBS backup. We covered a lot about OBS interfacing itself, troubleshooting. And then we also covered a little bit of, I believe, what was it? Spotify. Right, we ran through Spotify app. So here, we're just going to finish off everything here that I want to talk about OBS, and then move on to the plethora of other things that we had to cover. Again, I said there were like 9 different sort of things and topics, concepts, that actions, like tasks we were working on it for the past like 18 hours, but you know, really 10 of those hours were spent sleeping. Okay, so I'll play the music now. What we have here on a display, right? So this is important. Now we've covered the scenes, the sources. I can talk a little bit about audio mixer. You can see here that basically most of the sounds here are muted, but if I want to, I could just unmute it just by clicking sound volume here. Now they all refer to different things on the sound setting page. So if I go to settings, well, actually, can I do that well? Yeah, I can do that while I'm recording. So you can see general, stream, output, audio, video, hotkeys, all that kind of stuff. All these hotkeys, lots of hotkeys because I have so many plugins, right? Open virtual, broadcast intermission, all the different scenes here have different things as well. Advanced, so there's like a video, there's the recording, the video, the general settings for all that kind of stuff. Automatic reconnect. The video, the downscale, the resolution, audio, this is quite important. If you're going to use the default OBS audio settings, there will be some limitations. So you can't parse out the different sources of audio from, say, different applications or different tabs. So for that, if you want to do that, typically you have to use a plugin, unless you are relying on the more modern version of OBS Studio. I believe version 28 as opposed to my version 27. Basically comes prepackaged, included with a plugin that specifically allows for to take apart the different audio sources within the mixer. So anyways, this is something that used to be a problem, so I had to disable the global audio devices. Anyways, advanced hotkeys, all that stuff. And instead, I was using the global settings here. I ended up using what's down there. You can see it's just the audio mixer plugin. The plugin was much useful. Anyways, this is an outdated version, so it's probably not applicable anymore for any new users who may or may not be watching. So we have output here, of course. This is for the stream, recording, audio, replay buffer. You want to enable replay buffer, it will end up saving up to 20 seconds or however long you want to. But again, of course, it takes up a lot more RAM. I'm not going to do that. I'm not streaming anyways. Audio tracks, you have the encoder, different types, right? And the recording path. Stream. Okay. Audio tracks, you can have multiple audio tracks here. keyframe intervals, all the important details of the broadcast. Then you have the stream RTMP key. I probably shouldn't have shown that. General dark default. I should not show that, honestly. Dark default, but then there's a key that's hidden anyways. There's the theme. I chose dark, of course, automatically. Check for updates on startup, all that kind of stuff. Output, source alignment, snapping. Of course, we want it to snap. There's so many interfaces. If it didn't snap, it would be a huge problem. Projectors, system tray, enable, preview, importer, studio mode, and multi-view. Of course, I could go through all this just to make sure everything's right, but it's not a big deal. Oh, what's Rachni? Can we choose Rachni? Oh no! Don't tell me it's gonna freeze now. Oh, that's pretty cool, but it's not what I want. That's for sure. The light blue is not gonna suit me at all. No, sir. And a tiny ass fonts, no. Okay, so okay. What's Acri? What is this? Since when they have so many different themes? Oh, I like this one a lot better though. This one is nice. Wow. Now, unfortunately, there is a bit of blue I can see, so I don't want that. We'll just stick with the traditional dark default, since it's purely a pure gray tone, doesn't have these like blue buttons and whatnot. I don't need the blue buttons. Okay, we just keep it as gray as possible. Anyways, you can see now that they have some stuff that surprises me even. Okay, just leave it at that. And then, okay, so we're done that, and now we can go over to the display, which we have been avoiding for the entire time. But it's fairly obvious, right? This is where you can see everything. Add sources, paste, duplicate. You can, of course, select different items here physically, but it's very hard to do that because everything's in layers, right? So you're only able to pick off the top layer. And then whatever you selected at the top layer, usually, you just right click and then you can have all these transitions, all the settings here again, scale, filtering, order, transform, all the beautiful stuff that you can do with OBS Studio and all the plugins and scripts. You can drag and resize whatever you need to, but I'm not going to do that here. Obviously, that's going to screw some things up. But for example, this one, the top layer, happens to be my interactive media interface that I spent so much time building and I didn't really need to customization. So that's that right there. You can see it's expanding, it's moving, contracting alongside with the mouse. Let me just get it right. I think that's a good position. There we go. Okay, so while we're on the topic of display, I want to talk about the plans of what needs to change, right? I mentioned before in the previous video that I'm going to probably edit into this one and combine. First of all, the backdrop is really black and boring. And I have no interest of changing that because I usually am recording practically in the middle of the night till dawn. As a result, I don't want to tire myself out with bright, blinding blue lights because that would just end up making me really tired and I wouldn't be able to leave the residency without feeling exhausted, right? Feeling sleepy, and then I wouldn't be able to get stuff done outside because I do need to get stuff done. Obviously, I go pretty much every day until recently, until this marathon kicked in, and I tried to keep up with Studio Gek. So more on that later. Yeah, so that's something that needs to change. I have to put a chroma key, apply it over the filter of the backdrop, so that the room is blanked out with something else, if at all possible. And then I'll apply maybe a virtual background that will seem a little bit more pleasant for the eyes of people reacting. Okay, or we can substitute it. For example, right now I can see that there's like the Twitch stream right here. I could very easily just make this the backdrop, the Twitch live stream, which is looking a lot more interesting. It's got all the different logo meta interfaces that I wouldn't usually use. Okay, I think the sound I can add again. Take it easy. Harris Heller has such great music, honestly. Okay, so, and then very top, right, in this particular display, let's just cover some elements here. The main one that I want to talk about. We have the overlay from the browser overlay, and the name's outdated. I need to change it. So our CPSD processor is not true anymore. It's like React AI Live, but it's actually more like a respite service. So what I just realized right now is that I forgot to do something really important. So I'm going to go all the way here and make sure I mark that down, because the name for, well, the description, essentially what we're doing here is not anything like what I thought it would be. Description, behind the scenes podcast, React reception. It's not quite right. It's more like group discussions. It's more like a respite shelter. Respite shelter. And in fact, I can do that and say it right here. Respite shelter. RS RuneScape. Right, and we can have like a triple entendre here, right? Respite shelter for those without families, without home, family, place to go, a secure place to go. And we can say it's like a RuneScape reference. Run, escape, RuneScape, RS. I don't know how I'm going to play off on those two together necessarily in a model, but I do know that's something that's important to me, so. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and drop it here. Biographic update. Okay. Alright, concept. You can tell I'm tired. Shit. So that's one thing to change, the chroma key in the background. Another thing is just the respite shelter, the notion that what we do on this channel is also part like an orphanage for those who don't have a place to go or to belong. And then we have here at the very top some displays I want to cover. So here's a display. If this is a reaction sort of scene, which you see, this is where we're looking down towards this way, and this is what we showcase, and the reaction will be here. Alternative, and what's important is how to shift over the audio, the music over to this end here, because it's all just empty space and dark. And then I'll have space for the display here for what's essentially the reaction or original source content that we're, a piece of video that we're, or blog style that we're basically reading or watching. Up here we also have a display for our kind of like a counter of a display of the live stream usually. So that's something that we can also make use of if we find a way to download this, and we have, and increase the size of the border. So the border of the overlay is too small. We want to increase it and maybe mask over the display of the reaction content, which would be usually on a browser like Microsoft Edge. Okay. So there's some stuff we got to do there in terms of stream elements, the overlay, the elements of the overlay, and then moving over so the interactive media over to one side and getting a chroma key and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that's important is the filters. So the LUTs here, obviously I don't have a lot of filters right now. If I go ahead and click on filters for the display, it's a shockingly just like it's just like 5 or 6 of them that were provided by default. Small link camera, filters, and we go to LUTs, right? So again, all the different, filters, and these video audio filters are important. I learned this from Gaming Careers. He does a great introduction. Has a great video on expander, compressor, limiter, equalizer. Apply the LUTs here and you can browse, but there's only like 6 here provided. Grayscale, black, white, posterize, original. And so what happens is that I basically went ahead, and we're going to get to that right now. Okay, close this and replugs. Replugs is really important. That's another. So we have to change. We would like to at least brighten up everything in the backdrop. So if we can go to another browser right now, right, out of the 9 things that we were supposed to talk about, another one aside from Spotify and the OBS backup and this tutorial is right here, I believe. Come on. So we got rid of the forum for learning how to back up OBS Studio, but we do have a tab here, very important, and that is the gaming careers. And here's actually my email. So I think about a year and a half ago or something along those lines, as I said, I tried to basically learn how to live stream. And what we have here is gaming careers, and them sending me basically one of these, after you sign up, a package with 30 free webcam filters that make it brighter or higher contrast, right? Some will be cooler colors, others will be warmer colors, complementary colors, and all that jazz. So gaming careers from United Kingdom, and so we can download the filters, in fact we already have, so we can close this email, which I don't usually use often. We click the link here, right, and it brought us here, and download filters. So let's just read a little bit from gaming careers. Download 30 free webcam filters for your stream. 30 free webcam filters. Thanks for checking out my pack of webcam filters. You can click here to download blah for OBS or Streamlabs OBS. So if you need a refresher on how to apply these LUTs into your streaming software, I go through it all step by step in this video. As a part of our newsletter, every week you'll be receiving email which is packed full of streaming tips, industry news, tech product reviews, so much more. If you'd rather not really receive all that, you can easily unsubscribe at any bottom at any time. So download filters. And I have downloaded filters, in fact, they're right here. So it's, I believe, out of the 10 Windows Explorers I have open, I think it's right here in the installer section. Or not. It might not be. Oh, that's troublesome. So let's click download. Save as. Yeah, I did save it. Okay, I did download it. It's just in a different folder. I'm gonna open the address. I'm gonna open a screenshot, open a new window. Okay. So there we go. This is where it is. I actually have it saved up here with all the installed software, or the installers of software that I plan on installing. And we can finally get rid of goodbye gaming careers. Thank you for your help. Again, we kept this up open for OBS Studio backup because it's super important, and then we won't get to it in the future. So we have game careers here with the LUTs, and what we want to do is obviously, you can see DaVinci Resolve here. I obviously want to get that down. We have Gephi, that's a network data visualization software. Some of these are very interesting. So we're going to extract all. In fact, we can probably put these LUTs in the right location if possible. So maybe we'll just leave it like this for now. Okay. Leave an interface. We'll get back to this after we watch this like a little video. He did have a video, he said, right? Learning how to do it, where to place the LUTs. Okay. Let's see. So we go to OBS Studio. Okay. We come here and go to the filters. Filters. Apply LUTs. Browse. Okay. And we want to open that address. Or we want to open in the full. We want to open in the yeah, we can just open the we can open the folder itself. So we'll open a new window, and what we'll do now is just kind of take this and copy paste, and the LUTs are there. Extract. And extract.
For a skillet festival, it'll be hard to choose between our 5 new skillet dishes. We've got the burger
Okay,
skillet
great.
for all the burger lovers. The hot
Good stuff.
style skillet, a comforting classic. And the savory halloumi chorizo.
And we have all these
skillet.
different LUTs here now.
When it comes to skillets, we've got
From
a
gaming careers.
skill set.
Cane Choi.
Okay.
Now, what alternative we can do is we can actually just also,
Feeling caught in a neutral zone?
right, go back to the folder.
When things start to go off,
Man, there's so much here now. It's crazy.
you know it's time to play. It's easy to find your next
Right.
favorite game at Bodog.net.
And we can just extract it here and refer to over here if we want to. I guess we don't have to do that. We can just save and leave this now at this point. Installer.
Hashtag make a play.
Okay. As for the LUTs, it's already nice. Put. And yeah, nice. Okay. So I don't really need this either. And if I want, let's pick one at random here and see which one will look better. Wow. So you can see they're starting to take effect now. Depending on which one I want. I wish there was a way to preview it all though. Obviously, this is a very slow process. Trying to come to terms with which one is the best. Roland Swanson. Ideally, we could get something that's really, really bright. But, I guess we don't have something like that here. Brooks is pretty good. Right? It really brightens the atmosphere. If I take away the LUT, it actually gets darker. Okay. Yeah, pretty good. But the contrast is just not that great, that's all. I mean, the coloration, saturation. But anyways, this is good enough, so I'm closed for now. And you can see that basically the most important thing here for me is brightness, but you can definitely pick your own different LUT to use. And that's about it for here. We have, again, you can move all these widgets around, all the lower third, the music player, as well as the voice box and so on and so forth. I'm noticing that the interactive piece, again, it's still Spotify capture. It's lost its tongue again. Okay. So I think we're done with display here. Let's come over here on the right hand side. We said very quickly with this chat. We can just type something fun here. Right? We can use some very general emojis. Right? Shield, moderation, all that jazz. Captions. Mentioned before that we don't really want to touch these very often because the captions are, for example, better done on Clipchamp. Scene transitions, stinger, add, move, slide, fade to color, Luna wipe. Again, most of these things I have no use of because I don't really want to cover them. I don't want to really use them. The best one usually is just zoom. That's literally the only transition I really need aside from just an immediate cut. And then controls, start streaming, start virtual camera, stop recording, studio mode, and settings. Studio mode's interesting. splits up in two. Fade to black, wonder what this is. Quick transitions, allows you to see what a transition looks like. Fade to back, the different types. We don't need studio mode. And then we can start a virtual camera as well. There are controls and settings. Of course, settings is just leading back to where we originally had the settings, the global settings. At the very bottom, Stream Elements live support, because that's the plugin I have. And then we have whether it's a live or not, which we're not live. The recording time is 29 minutes in. I didn't notice that. The CPU usage, 5.8%. That's pretty low, I'm surprised. 30 FPS frames per second. And SC.live core version 23.3.176, powered by Stream Elements. Very nicely done. And of course, I think that's a wrap for everything here related to OBS, except while we were talking about moving the elements up here, right, we also talked about doing the chroma key and how that's important to have, but also, and we started talking about how the small camera has a really poor resolution, and it's also really dark right now because I have poor lighting. So that's what led us to gaming careers. And we also talked about the OBS plugin, but then there's another third, fourth thing really that's related here, even Spotify aside. And that one would be, if we jump over, let's hop over to, basically we said we want to move the elements around, right? So particularly the frames up here for, whatchamacall, the borders of the display capture. Okay, so what we can do. Okay, it's functional, good. So what we can do is we want to go over to Stream Elements, and that's something that's open as well that I want to get rid of. So Stream Elements right here. Gain total creative control of your alerts, widgets and overlays. Get paid to do what you do best. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, we're very strong. Okay, engagement tools and sponsorships built for creators big and small, live streamers, video creators. Yeah, I don't get sponsored apparently. We all know why they put her up here as the first person. I thought it was going to rotate, but it's not going to rotate. Features, learn, company, advertisers. Apparently the site has really changed from what I'm used to, and they have all these funny ASCI emojis here. It's pretty interesting. Trusted by the best. Sponsorship offers, legendary fans, legendary service. I remember how niche this was. I was in the RuneScape forums like about 15 years ago, and we used to play around with these, different faces and stuff like that. Create ASCI art. Integrates with the most popular creator platforms: Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Gaming, Trovo. Time to get sponsored. Apparently get sponsored. Fully vetted. You can trust and deliver top-notch products, experiences your company will love. It's obviously not going to work because I don't have any audience. Join us, help, learn more. 100% free customizable alerts and widgets for live streamers. Choose from hundreds of themes, layouts, make it your own, free forever. No print, whatever, and no small print. Whatever you use will be yours for free forever. Set up in minutes, and get started and learn. Engage and earn and grow your channel if you're doing videos on YouTube. So interesting. Your channel. What do you think? What should it be? Activate more, earn more. All this basically stuff. And trusted by the best. So then there, testimonials, of course, at every landing page. Top creators around the world. I don't know any of them. Try hacks, key up sticks. They have to be all new people here, obviously. Craft, and Joey Cow TK. OTYK. I don't know what that is. Honestly, moving aside. Super simple. Obviously, all the Harris Heller, of course. The one and only. Shroud. Okay, great. Okay, let's come down here. Game-changing tools, game-changing service. It seems like esports, I guess. I'm assuming what that is. Nope, content creator. This is their team, basically. Right? They're looking very professional and up to date. Discord, help center, blog. I like the effect they're using to make it seem as if you're entering a tunnel. And create awesomeness for tools, sponsorships, streamers, and so on and so forth. And finally, at all the way down to the bottom, we have the features, again, the footer, basically everything. Why did I cover this? Well, largely because two things. One, I want to see what we're going to do if we become a video creator. And also, I haven't joined their Discord, I don't believe. So if I can, I'd like to do that. Nice. I'll close that now. Okay, next, video creators. Mercury.streamelements.com. So it's already logged into my channel because I'm already logged in. Celebrate every win, no matter how small in comparison to others. Weekly emails, create a poll, add a tipping link, engagement, views. Just so funny. Guys, I'm not going to grow. This is not something that my channel. We're going to Mercury. Mercury is, I guess, specifically for YouTube. Let's get your subs up. Add a subs goal. No, thank you. I'm not working on that. We don't want more people to watch right now. Set a subs goal real time.